Finis Valorum was a seasoned politician and the penultimate Supreme Chancellor of the Galactic Republic. As much as he tried to solve galactic disputes during his reign, corruption filled his administration. Valorum was eventually deemed unfit to serve as the Chancellor and so was voted out, replaced by Sheev Palpatine. As it turned out, he became one of the first victims of Palpatine's plan to rule the galaxy. However, he never just faded into obscurity, as he helped the Jedi learn more about the mysterious death of Master Sifo-Dyas. Welcome to Zan's Star Wars Lore Episode 107, The Life of Finis Valorum. Finis Valorum was destined for a life in politics. Not only was he born into the powerful House Valorum on Coruscant, he was a descendant of one of the first Supreme Chancellors of the Galactic Republic. Being part of House Valorum, which was very prestigious and well respected within the Republic, he firstly became a civil servant. Finis later went on to serve as Supreme Chancellor Kalpana's administrator before being elected by the Galactic Senate to replace him. Unfortunately, due to no fault of his own, his political power slowly diminished over time. In addition, many accused Valorum of allowing corruption to run freely in his administration. However, he denied all allegations and continued to serve as the Supreme Chancellor to the best of his ability. During Valorum's chancellorship, he acted upon a crisis in the Pike Syndicate, one of the biggest criminal organisations residing in the lower levels of Coruscant. The crisis had the potential to erupt into a full-scale crime war, so Finis contacted someone who had experience with the criminal underworld, Jedi Master Sifo-Dyas. Along with his personal aide, Silman, he sent Dyas to the Pike planet, Obadiah. However, Valorum kept the mission a secret, not even telling the Jedi Council of Sifo's task. This was because the Galactic Senate feared the opposition would have solid evidence of their criminal activities and corruption if Finis's administration talked publicly with the Pikes. Whilst the two were on Obadiah, the Jedi Council tasked Dyas with solving a dispute on Felucia. As he and Silman were departing the planet, Sith Lord Darth Tyrannus had the Pikes shoot down the Jedi Master's ship. Dyas was killed immediately, while Silman was taken prisoner. Deceived, the Jedi Order and Valorum believed the two were killed on Felucia. As Finis approached the end of his first term as Supreme Chancellor, many speculated he would not be re-elected for a second term. However, against what seemed like all the odds, Valorum maintained his position. Though Palpatine appeared to be a close friend of the Chancellor, the secret Sith Lord planned his political demise and claimed Valorum was only elected for a second term due to external forces, such as groups who wanted to exploit a weak Supreme Chancellor. Not long into his further appointment, many Coruscanti speculated if Valorum would even see out the full term. During this time, Palpatine's name began to surface over the possibility of succeeding Finis. The Chancellor's credibility suffered even more when he was blocked from investigating a devastating trade summit on Eriadu. The planet's governor, Williv Tarkin, did so at the request of Palpatine. Valorum's position was weakened further as a result of how Tarkin had been elected, becoming governor against opposition from House Valorum. In 32 BBY, a galactic dispute arose over the taxation of trade routes to outlying systems. In an attempt to bully the Senate into settling for a favourable deal, the Trade Federation blockaded the planet of Naboo. The Naboo crisis was yet another attempt by Palpatine to end Valorum's chancellery. With an incredible amount of pressure being placed upon Finis to solve the dispute quickly, he turned towards the Jedi Order for help, sending Jedi Master Qui-Gon Jinn and his Padawan Obi-Wan Kenobi to negotiate with the Viceroy of the Trade Federation, Newt Gunray. However, the talks never took place, with the Federation actually attacking the Jedi. Not long after, Naboo was invaded. Fortunately, Naboo's queen, Amidala, managed to escape the planet. When she arrived on Coruscant, she called for a special session of the Senate. Valorum presided over the Senate session, where Amidala claimed her homeworld had been invaded by the Trade Federation. Unfortunately for the Queen, the discussions only frustrated her, making Amidala feel like it was a waste of time rather than the reassurance she required. The Federation Senator, Lord Dodd, disputed the claims, asking the Chancellor to have the allegations studied, appointing a commission to do so. Before Valorum discussed the proposition with his advisors, Malastér's representatives backed the idea. Amidala was asked if a commission was in her interests, but she refused. In response, influenced by Palpatine, the Queen called for a vote of no confidence. This made Finis slump in his chair. He never expected such a drastic announcement. The vote led to Finis being removed from his position, leaving the title of Supreme Chancellor vacant. The leading candidates to fill the positions were Ainley Team, Bail Antilles, and Sheev Palpatine. Just as the latter planned, the invasion of Naboo created sympathy towards his homeworld. In what was a formality in the end, Palpatine was elected as the new Supreme Chancellor, replacing Valorum, his friend. Soon after, due to the Senate's inability to act, Queen Amidala returned to Naboo and freed it with some help. Because of Valorum's fall in the political world, Valorum shipping, controlled by House Valorum, lost a lot of prestige, meaning rival companies prospered in their difficulties. Although Finis was no longer the Supreme Chancellor, he continued to live on Coruscant for several years afterwards. During the Clone Wars, a conflict crafted by Darth Sidious, the Jedi Order came into possession of Sifo-Dyas' lightsaber, causing them to investigate the former Jedi Master's mysterious death. They discovered the file regarding the events on Obadiah, which was somewhat hidden by the Valorum administration. Following up the find, an old friend of Finis, the Grand Master of the Jedi Order, Yoda, met with him at his estate on Coruscant. Complying with Yoda's request, Valorum told him about the mission to the Pike planet. Due to the ex-Chancellor's information, Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker discovered the creation of the clone troopers for the Grand Army was actually plotted by the Sith. In addition, they found Silman, who was still alive, though he was later killed by Count Dooku. 13 years after Palpatine conspired to have Valorum removed from power, he issued Order 66, wiping out most of the Jedi, transformed the Galactic Republic into the Galactic Empire, and declared himself as the Emperor. Although Valorum was always regarded as a weak and ineffective leader, many of the Coruscant population believed he was a good man, and they often shared fond memories of him. This was rather strange, as Darth Sidious tried to erase Valorum's name and push him out of the public eye. Though the rest of his life is uncertain, leaving his post-Galactic Republic existence a mystery, there is no question that he would have been disappointed by Palpatine, destroying the very thing he loved, the very thing Finis had served for most of his life, the Galactic Republic. Now it's time for this week's question. What do you think would have happened to the galaxy if Valorum stayed in power instead of being replaced by Palpatine? Let me know in the comments below. Remember to vote for next week's episode by liking one of the 3 comments below, and for more Star Wars lore, keep it locked here to the King's Hands. More and more corruption filtered through the organisation. The Senate became filled with greedy politicians who could not effectively solve disputes between the member worlds of the Republic. An example of this came around 10 years before the Clone Wars, when a dispute over the taxation of trade routes in the galaxy